Boobs. Fucking hell. Right, we're just going to try and hit the ground running, even though it's late. Oh, dear sweet heavenly Lord. I feel like I've got this smoky aura around me at the moment because I guess I've been clearing the old throat chakra and the heart chakra earlier on today by listening to some mummy affirmation things, and they seem to have been hitting this area and clearing stuff gradually, which is nice. But it also means that the overall feeling in the room is slightly smoky because I guess some of that negative energy has gone into the atmosphere, and it's not actual smoke. It's I hope it's not. No, it's not actual smoke. It's just a sense of smoke, a feeling of smoke. It's just a kind of etheric smoke thing. So, let's crack on with Fieros' story time. Welcome to Fieros Reborn. That is the name of the channel. I am Fieros Reborn. I used to be Fieros, then I was reborn because I destroyed my old channel when I was just Fieros Wilson, and then I was reborn when I reborned the channel. So this whole channel is reborn, and I am reborn, and you can be reborn with the power of Fieros inside you, flaming your days and nights with the flame of passion. So, hello, welcome to this. We're doing Fieros' story time, and my voice sounds really big and boomy right now. Good, fine. And okay, so we got to the end of the fucking relationship with Mrs. D. What a bitch. What a fucking bitch. Awesome boobs. She got, well, they were good at the time, and they were pretty good. They were very, very, sort of, they were large, but they were well contained. So they were very shaped. And so she just got them out and she said, do you want to squeeze them? And I was like, yes, please. And so I did. And then she said, they're really great, aren't they? And I was like, yes, they are very, very good. And then she put them away and they were never to be seen again. Which she was just such a strange, conflicted person. Oh dear. So yeah, and I told you in the last Fieros' story time that she kicked me out of her house. I don't know whether she kicked me out. I feel like she kicked me out, and I also simultaneously decided that yes, this is a good idea. Because there was a flirty thing that went wrong, and I made an inappropriate comment about rape, and then she got violent towards me, and I was like not happy with that, and in fact I was very upset with that, very very upset with that, emotionally upset, not just like oh I'm really upset with that. No, I was very distressed about that, and anyway it came to the situation that I was to go out, leave. Took my stuff and left. Now, this is a tricky part that I'm not exactly sure what happened. I know I went round knocking on people's doors to ask if I could stay there, and they were like, no, what the hell? And then one or some of them must have called the police because the police showed up. Apparently, they were in contact with my parents as well because Mrs. D was in contact with my parents via email and maybe even via phone. And the police were also in contact with my parents at that time to try and see what the hell, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be staying? What the hell? Who am I? Like, what the hell? And they had found out that I'd been given a ticket, I think, by my parents to go back to New York. I'm not sure what the hell. Maybe to get my plane? I don't know. I don't know what exactly. So we can't quite fill that detail in. But I know what did happen was that they took me in the police car to the Greyhound bus station in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Right? Again, there's a bit of a strange confusion in my mind because there were two times that I went to live with Mrs. D. Oh, I almost said her name then. Oh God. There were two times that I went to live with that person. right? And the first time I went there, and then something went wrong the first time as well. And then I went to stay with Will for a bit. And then I feel like I ended back up in New York. And then I feel like I went back to stay with Mrs. D the second time. And then things got really, really bad the second time. Ending in the kick to the groin. I keep saying kick to the groin, but I know that she didn't actually kick me. She kneed me. It was a really hard knee in the groin. And it really fucking hurt as well. Yeah, and she was like, that felt good. Like, you fucking bitch. And I was playing all innocent most of the time as well. Like, to be honest, I was so bewildered by the fact of these things happening, I did not know how to respond at all. I'm not a naturally violent person. This kind of thing had never happened to me before. So I was completely clueless about what the hell was going on and why, basically. So, yeah. But we're going to have to just say blah to the first time I went to stay with her. And then this is definitely the second time I went to stay with her. I say definitely now. It might change. But yeah, so I went round knocking on doors. Police came along. They dropped me off at the bus station, presumably to send me somewhere, right? And I remember sitting in the bus station in like these metal chairs. Sounds like I was in the electric chair. They're just these like waiting room chairs, right? But they were metal. You know those ones, metal seats with the holes in? Little holes like train seats, that kind of thing. But it was in a room. It was in the waiting room. And there was a TV on. Like in the waiting room. And it was one of these preachy type people. And he was a black guy. He was very boomy, powerful speaker type of person, you know? Like one of these really getting the crowd all riled up, y'all. Yeah. And he was talking about money. And he was saying about how it's so clear how I remember this because the phrase that he was using stuck in my head. So he was saying about how we deserve money and that we should act as though money is our birthright and that it's okay to have money and that you know, anyone who's been teaching us that money is the root of all evil is wrong and it's a misinterpretation. And who here believes that they deserve some more money? And everyone was like, yeah. It's like, who here wants to have more money in their bank right now? And he's like, yeah. This was a preacher, by the way. This is not like a sales pitch. And he's like, God wants you to have money. And he's like, yeah, woo. God wants you to have the most money you've ever had in your life. Yeah. Why do you think God created you to be poor? No, God created you to have what God has to offer. Yeah. And then he goes, I want everybody here to stand up in your chair. I want you to pull your hand out like this. I want you to pull your hand in, pull your hands in like this, and I want you to say, money, coming to me. Come on, everybody, stand up. I'll put your hands out like this. I say, money, coming to me. Money, coming to me. Money, coming to me. Everybody, come on now. Money, coming to me. Money, coming to me. Ah! It was wicked. I just remember that one phrase. Money, coming to me. Because he was saying it over and over again. He's like, everybody over there, let's do it now. Money, coming to me. So that was amazing. And I sat there watching this, which was a very exciting thing. And I thought, this is really good. I should make note of this. And I did obviously make a mental note of it because I remember it crystal clear. Money, coming to me. I can't remember who the name of the guy was, or you know what his name was, or what church he was from, whatever. But money, coming to me. Yeah, and and there was this other guy sat on the chair, like on over there on a different angle, like so he was like that, and I was on this one's over here like this, and he was just like just snoring, nodding off in the chair. He looked proper dopey. I don't know whether he's actually asleep or what, but he was like, "Nah." And I was like going, yeah, "This is wicked money coming to me." And I remembered it. I was like, "Yeah," and I did the actions as well. I was like, "Yeah, money coming to me, money coming to me." And there's this like other guy just like over there in the corner, so that was strange. Okay, so it did that, which I will always remember, and it occasionally comes back to me whenever it just randomly comes to me when something triggers it off, and I go, money coming to me. so, so I didn't get on the bus though. I know I didn't get on the bus. Why do I always say I know I didn't get on such and such, or no, I didn't do things when I don't really know? I believe I did not get on the bus. I feel as though I did not get on the bus that time. Or maybe I did. But it could be. It could actually be. No. Right. I know some things that did happen, okay? I know that I walked back from the bus station without actually knowing where the hell I was going. I just had this homing pigeon feeling. Like, I was pretty good with homing pigeons, right? Like, for example, later on in the story, I escaped from Ward 10 in Wexham Park Hospital, which is a psychiatric ward, right? I escaped from there, and I've never been there. And honestly, I did not know where it was, really. Like, I mean, I must have been to Wexham Park Hospital before, but I'd never walked it, and I'd never driven there. Like, I just wouldn't have known. I just didn't know where the hell I was, but somehow I homing pigeoned my way back to my house. I mean, it's not far away. It's like a half an hour or 45-minute walk. But I just had the sense of this way. Okay, now this way. And then there were signs at a certain point to help me get my bearings. But I was like, okay, it's this way. And I was quite pleased. I don't know how I did it. I was walking along random like parts of green grass that I didn't know where they were. They didn't seem to be connected to anything in particular. I was like just walking. All right, so this way. I can feel it this way. And it was, I was a homing pigeon, man. And then in a similar kind of way, I walked back from this bus station or somewhere to Mrs. D's house. It was a long fucking walk, okay? Because maybe my homing pigeon sense was not great, or maybe the bus station was way away from where Mrs. D lived. But somehow, and it took me ages and ages, right? And that was the point where I had to jettison a lot of my stuff. I just got rid of a load of stuff because I couldn't carry it all. I feel as though I left my African dress thing there, and I feel like I left one of my guitars there as well. I was walking down a long road, I remember this, and I just thought I've gotta fucking leave some stuff, man, because it's too heavy and I'm knackered, and I don't have any food, and I feel like I'm gonna die because I don't have any water either. And I remember going to a McDonald's and maybe asking them if they could just give me something, and I don't know if they did or not. I did this thing where I just used to kind of collect up bits of scraps off tables if I couldn't get anything myself, or I may well have even just sat down and just finished off someone's food if they'd left. I know I did that afterwards, so I may have done it then as well, which is kind of grim, but when you don't have any food or water or drink, then you just got to do that kind of thing. You're desperate, so you have to just be gross. Yeah. All right. But I walked back from the Greyhound bus station in Baton Rouge to where Mrs. D was living, and like I don't want to just brush past this because this was a very long walk, and I didn't know where I was going because I'd just been in a back of a police car. Like, I wasn't fucking looking where I was going. I didn't know the area. I'd never fucking been there before. Like, I don't know how I got back there, but I did. and I didn't take any directions from anyone because I wouldn't have known where the hell to ask them. Do you know where Mrs. D lives? I mean, I don't know where I was. I don't know how I got back there, but I homing pigeoned it. Seriously, like my homing pigeon skills are amazing. When I really need them to be, they are there for me. I'm like, where the fucking hell am I? Let's just zen into it. I mean, what the hell? I mean, I could have walked the complete opposite direction, but I obviously didn't because I found my way back. It took me like 3 or 4 hours, and it was a long walk, and it was not pleasant. And I remember feeling like killing myself a lot of the time because I was like, this is going on for ages, and I don't really know where I am. I'm just going on faith that I know how to get back to where I am. And I remember going past a like preschool or something like that, right? And I walked past it, and there was no one in there, or maybe there were teachers teaching small children.
I don't know. I can't exactly remember, but I remember walking past it, right? And I cried because I remember feeling as though in that moment that it was part of my destiny to teach children. And actually, later on, I did end up teaching children guitar. So, bong, bong, bong. That was so strange. Yeah, because I just had this flash of an insight when I was walking past this school, and I was like, "Oh my God, I know that it's totally part of my life purpose to teach children things." And I just felt overwhelmed with some kind of gratitude feeling or some kind of knowing feeling, which later became true, which is very strange because it's weird to think like these insights actually they really are real, they really do mean something, because I think at the time when I had that insight that I was going to be a teacher of some sort to children, I didn't really like that idea. That's not what I had planned for myself growing up, and so I was like humbled by it in a way, and I also didn't want it to happen. And subsequently, I don't want to do teaching for children because children are annoying, especially in large groups, and I can't deal with it. One is enough. I've got a nephew. That's enough for the moment. Yeah, and okay. So I went past this preschool, and I knew in an instant that I was going to be a teacher of some sort in the future. Carried on walking, just a long, 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 long walk, and as I say, got to this long, 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 long road. It was like this weird road where there's houses, but there were abandoned houses and stuff. It was quite creepy, but it was cool. There was like houses with no windows and doors in and stuff, and it was cool but weird. And I couldn't really stop to stay and check out this stuff, which would be my normal inclination, is to explore this kind of random shit and go, ooh, this is weird and cool and creepy and weird. Yeah, but I didn't. I couldn't because I was fucking knackered, and and it was on that road with all the weird houses, and I feel as though the sun was either rising or falling, as in it was either sunrise or sunset. It was a weird lighting, whatever the case, and I was like, oh God, I can't carry all this stuff, man. I don't even know what exactly I was carrying. Maybe it was like suitcase or a rucksack and a suitcase and a guitar. I don't know what I was carrying, okay? But I was like, I can't carry all this stuff, man. I just can't do it anymore. This is ridiculous. So I jettisoned a load of it. And I just left it by the side of the road, and I felt really shit about it, but I was like, okay, fine, I'll give this to the universe then. I feel as though I gave my electric guitar, the electric guitar that I had, because I'd already lost the acoustic guitar. I'd lost the acoustic guitar with the homeless people in New York who'd nicked it when I went to the toilet in the swimming pool area thing, right? So they'd nicked that one, but I still had my electric guitar. I think that must be the case. Yeah, and then I gave the electric guitar away to the universe because it was too fucking heavy. Because I had a guitar case and this other suitcase I was carrying, and it was just too much. And I believe I also left my African dress there as well, because that was part of, I can't remember what, oh, fuck's sake, like what clothes I actually kept. I must have kept something. This is so weird. Like, how did I fucking survive this? And if I can't remember what exactly happened, like, how the hell did I get back? Do you know what I mean? Like, how was I able to get back home when I can't really remember how I got from one place to the next? Yeah. So, I mean, I must have kept my passport on me because I got home through the customs eventually. So, I don't know. I feel like I had the rucksack, maybe. I got rid of a load of fucking stuff, okay, on the side of the road, because it was actually in this area, this long road that I was talking about, where there was lots of leeway, so there was kind of litter and shit about lying around, and I thought, okay, well, maybe I should donate my guitar and a load of clothes and stuff, so I can just, and I think I had that big giant book with all the pictures in of the Buddha stuff that I mentioned in another video. I think I still had that. I was like, this is too heavy. All this stuff is too heavy, and I need to cut down this shit, because I'm never going to get back home to the Mrs. D area like this. So I walked and missioned it back, and eventually I kind of emerged after hours and hours of grueling, feet hurting, knackering, non exactly knowing where I am, if that is a word, walking, just hours and hours of walking and feeling like shit. I got to where I kind of re-emerged to somewhere that I recognized, and I was like, I can't actually believe this. I've actually done this. This is amazing. So I re-emerged back into the area of where Mrs. D lived, which is quite a large area. There was like a mall over there, like a shopping. It was like a shopping shop estate, if you would call it. I don't know what you call it. Like a set of different malls. So they have a big supermarket thing, and then they had these other shops. One was a coffee shop. One was a kind of it was like a drive-through chicken type thing. I can't remember what other ones there were. Maybe a shoe shop of some kind, or a furniture shop. I can't remember. But behind one of the shops, the mall thing, the supermarket type one, there was a load of couches, or a couple of couches that had been left out the back there. Right now, I'd already found this kind of, I don't know what you call it, valley. This is a very small valley for a stream, right? So it was about, in total, there was the height of the house, or the depth of the house, this house. So a few meters deep, and it had a little stream going, a very narrow little stream going down in the like bottom part of the valley, right? And above it there was a highway road went across it. So let me see what you can see for a second. So I just draw it, actually, it's just easier. So you had, one second. So yeah, this little winding crappy stream down there, right? And you had the valley. Okay, and you had this sort of bit there, and then you had the motorway, highway over the top. Highway. With cars on it, obviously. So, oops, upside down. Okay, so I'd found this little kind of stream valley thing, right? And Mrs. D lived up here somewhere over there, but like really, not really far away, but out of sight over there, right? And I found this place, and I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I can kind of hide out under here and live under this bridge bit like a troll. So, so this is the bridge bit that I speak about when I say I lived under a bridge like a troll. And they had these like girders that were part of it, and I used one of the little girders as a shelf to put some bread on. And so there was this like higher bit with a little ramp. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen these things, but if you go check out a motorway bridge, they're like this in England too, kind of. So yeah. So if I draw, I'll try and talk you through this. So there's this like, hold on. So there was this like higher level there, then a little ramp bit down, and then there was like the lower level there, which was the ground level of the top of the valley, and then there were these girders that would go across underneath the bridge, which had like a little lip that you could put stuff on. I don't think people would normally put stuff on there, but so I put stuff on there, and I think I would. Well, what would I do? I slept on the ground floor bit, I think, or maybe on the up floor bit. There was actually already a sleeping bag like lying around on the upper floor bit, which I thought was cool. But I feel like I slept on the bottom bit first, maybe went up to the top bit, but then this other fucking hobo guy came along, which was really annoying because I was so glad to get some peace, right? And one of the things I did, okay, I got a lot to talk about this little bridge bit, yeah. One of the things I did was I laid down naked on a towel. I believe it was a towel, or some kind of piece of clothing. Oh no, it was my sheet. It was my hippie sheet thing that I got. Well, I must have got that from New York. Yeah, but I got this kind of like hippie sheet thing. It was purple and it had like the sun god on it. And I laid down on the side of the valley. It was actually over that. It's actually over that way now that I think of it. Well, whatever. I laid down on the side of the valley naked. You see my little penis there, which is marvelous. Very, very long. Oh, this way up. Sorry. Yeah. So nope, wrong way up. Oh man. So I lay there like naked and sunbathed on the side of the valley, and it was kind of muddy. But I put my towel thing down, my sheet thing. And it was wicked. It was the best fucking time I'd had in ages. And over here, right, let's get another thing. Over on the other side of the valley, the bridge went on. I feel like it curved round a bit or something as well. And they had these big, giant, like, circular pillars, or cylindrical pillars to keep it up as it went around. And there was also this like field of just loads of grass. It was no one ever went there, so it was very untouched. Create this giant diagram now. So okay, so there was this like bit over this side with these cylindrical things keeping the road up, and I went over into that field bit and I just lay there in the long grass. I was like doing a sort of grass angel like this thing. And it was so cool because there was just no one bugging me, no one slapping me in the face, no one kneeing me or kicking me in the nuts, no one troubling me. My parents didn't know where I was. No police were coming after me. It was just pure bliss, peace, relaxation, quietness, away from humanity, just by myself in nature. It was the most secluded place I had ever been to. And then relaxing naked on the side of the valley thing. It was just this feeling of utmost absolute freedom. No one could see me because everyone else in that area was miles away, and no one could see me from the cars above because they were really high up, and you know they were all just zooming by. And yeah, it was just bliss, total bliss, right? Everyone was miles away, not really miles away, but about a kilometre away. It felt like that, and no one was ever going to go there. And I was just like, this is amazing. I am so free. I have no one hassling me. It was the best feeling, and I just lay there and enjoyed that period of time of being by myself and free with no interruptions, and I just loved it. It was just such a good feeling. It's sort of like the culmination of all my struggling to feel good or to find a place in life just culminated, and this was towards the end of my stay in America. I didn't know that at the time, but I did kind of know it because I knew that my visa was running out, actually. Although there was some uncertainty because I felt like I might skip my visa, as in I might just hang out illegally. I didn't end up doing that, but I did consider it. Yeah, but so this was like the culmination. This is sort of the peak experience that everything led to, all the journeying and changing from place to place, and it like enabled me to finally get a feeling of peace of mind and relaxation and freedom and not being hassled by anyone. To lie there on the side of this valley on my purple sun god sheet thing, naked, total freedom, total bliss, and not even any insects were going on me either. So it was good. Maybe some flies here and there, but it was good. It was such a good feeling. And then I went over and explored this other part as well. I remember as well, I had these white long johns during that time. Oh man, those long johns, they were smelly by the end of it. Fuck's sake. Yeah, because I would wear my white long johns under my skirt, my hippie skirt. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, I remember it now. Okay. And okay, and then, as I say, this annoying fucking hobo came along. Oh god, why does there's always something has to go wrong. This was the most beautiful moment I had ever experienced in my whole life up until that point, because even when I was in Reading by myself and meditating in the trees, I could still hear people over there, like somewhere going, Susan, Susan, shut up, George. It's just stupid shit like that going on, and cars going by. And okay, yeah, there was the cars going by on the highway thing, but they were so not relevant because they were like so not able to see or touch or hear me or anything like that. It was just like, there was a nice background sound in a way. Yeah, and then this fucking hobo comes along. So I was having the most free, blissful, peaceful experience of my life and felt like I'd fucking earned it from all the shit I'd been through and all the difficulties I'd been through. I was like, finally I could just be myself and be naked and lie around in the warmth of the autumn fading sun. But this hobo comes along, and he was like, he was a drunk guy, alcoholic guy. He'd been a bum for ages by the look of him. And I'll give a description of him. He had these like bright stone blue eyes, but with that glaze over them, so it wasn't like he was barely seeing anything in the real world. Drunk, he was quite slim, gristly arms, tanned, blonde hair on his arms that you could see was shimmering in the light, and blonde hair, maybe a bit of a beard, real strong southern drawl to him, very, very racist. Everything he was talking about all the time was always about damn crackhead niggers. That featured in every single story multiple times about how these damn crackhead niggas keep coming. I said to him, you don't talk to me like that. You damn crackhead niggas, I damn what for? I said to him, and he was always like pointing and waving his finger and telling me about these fucking crackhead niggas apparently he'd been in fights with. I said, you give me the money, don't do that. I actually recorded him on my dictaphone because I had a dictaphone at the time. I recorded him because I thought this is comedy gold. This is the best voice character who I've ever come across. Damn crackhead niggas. I wish I could remember more of the actual things he was saying, but the things he was saying were so like, it was repetitive and just angry and aggrieved and resentful and telling these stories about how he was always in the right and they were always wrong and they were damn crackhead niggas coming over there and shit to me, came over to me. I said, no, Jack, come give me that bullshit, bro. I said, you don't talk to me like this. Give me the, so I punched me in the face. Damn crackhead niggas. I said, no, fuck you don't do it. And it just went on for ages and ages and ages, right? Saying the same kinds of things, the same kinds of stories. It was always involving some kind of fight, alcohol, and damn crackhead niggers, right? And I was just sat there listening to this, and it was just carried on and on and on. And I was thinking, because I was just stuck with this guy, you know. I was like, I'm not moving. I found this fucking place. This is my fucking spot. And he showed up. I'm like, oh God. And so he went out to go and get beers. This is the best story ever. This whole part is wicked. This is all true, by the way. He went out to get beers. And did he come back with wine? I think he came back with wine and a 6-pack of beer. Right. So he went off to the gas station, and he was saying that he was like, "I'll go off to the gas station and hustle me up some money, or rustle me up some money, hustle. So hustle me up some money." Right, and he kept saying to me as well, "You're a green boy. You got to get out there and make you some money. I got to show you the ropes." So he was trying to, he was going to teach me the ways of hoboism and how to hustle for money, right? And I knew differently because I felt like I was in touch with God, and whenever he was saying, "You're a green boy, you got to get out there and make you some money. I got to show you the ropes. Teach you the ropes, show you the ropes. You're a green boy." Green means you're new and fresh to the hobo game. I've got to go out and get me some money means you need to go out and do some begging and hustling and annoying people in order to get money. And he's going to show me the ropes meant that he's going to teach me the ways of hobo living. How to make money, how to get beer, and so on, and maybe get some damn crackhead niggas. No. Yeah. So he kept telling me I was green, so I was inexperienced and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I was like, thinking to myself, I didn't ever say it to him because I thought it'd just provoke him even more. You didn't need to provoke this guy who was constantly chatting shit anyway. Oh God, yeah, and I was thinking to myself, no, God will provide. God has been providing all along anyway. I trust in the faith of God. I faith in the God, to provide, and and in a way, God did provide. I think the hobo guy, might have got me some food at one point. I certainly got him a bit of food. I went to an Outback restaurant, right? Which was somewhere I had worked in the UK, but I was in America now, Baton Rouge. I found an Outback restaurant somewhere, it had a drive-through part as well, which I'd never seen that before. But yeah, it had that. And the first time, I went in there a couple of times, right? The first time I went there was a host person. So, you get like the host of the restaurant stands there on this kind of like they have this board thing that they put you down on where you're sitting and stuff, or they've got their list of names for reservations, things like that. Yeah. So I went in there and spoke to the guy, and he seemed to be a gay guy from how he was presenting himself and the way he was speaking, and he may have fancied me. I'm not sure, but I remember, I don't know whether I told him specifically that I had worked in an Outback before, or if I just told him that I'm hungry and is there anything that you, for example, have thrown away or can't serve that I could have. And he said, "Oh, it's okay. What do you want?" And I think he actually bought me a meal, like on his staff discount. He bought me a meal, so he paid for a meal for me. He got me some chicken tenders, and a soup thing, I think, with some bread, and I had that. And that was great, right? So I was really thankful for that. And I got an extra loaf because they used to give out these breads as like part of the thing that they would do at the beginning of every meal. They would bring out a bread with some butter, right? It's like this loaf thing that everyone had to have, even if you liked it or not. I think everyone had to have it. Because I remember when I worked there, I had to do this every time, right? I had to give these stupid fucking breads out. Yeah. Okay. So I had that, and I took back an extra bread to eat later, and I think I just said, "Hey," to the hobo guy, "Have that." And he was like, "Oh, cool! You got up some food, did you? You got some grub?" Yeah. So that was the first time, and then I went back there a second time, and this second time I did get something else. I got some kind of chicken salad, I think, or a steak or a burger. I can't remember exactly, but I spoke to the kitchen manager, who reminded me of my old kitchen manager a little bit. And I said, look, basically, I used to work in an Outback when a couple of years ago in England, but now I found myself homeless here in America. Is there anything that you can give me that you can't serve? And he basically gave me something else. I think it was ribs that time, actually. And then I do believe I went back a third time, and they just weren't having any of it the third time. So I maxed out on that. but God did provide. God did provide. Yeah, in the form of the Outback, which is strange how it all ties in. It's like it's weird how it was an Outback restaurant, or maybe it was like, obviously I felt the connection to the Outback, so that's why I went there rather than somewhere else. But it's just, for storytelling, it really is very good. It really does ties in nice, eh? So yeah, then what happened? All right, so I'm sat under this bridge with this tramp hobo guy who just will not shut up. He will not shut up. Maybe it sounds a bit like me, but this guy will not shut up, and he keeps buying drink. And I'm thinking to myself, man, you should really stop drinking so much, you crazy fool. Like, it's hot weather. Like, how are you surviving? And you should drink water, you dumbass. Because obviously, not being an alcoholic myself, I did not know the ways of the alcoholism, that somehow they managed to suck water out of alcohol and they can exist on pure alcohol alone. But then if they go off the alcohol, they can actually die. If you withdraw from alcohol and you're an alcoholic, if you withdraw too quickly, you can actually die from some kind of withdrawal thing. Your body can go into shock, and it can kill you. It can give you a heart attack. Yeah, good to know. So anyway, so he was there, and he kept going off and hustling up. You're a green boy. You got to get out there and make you some money. I got to show you the ropes. And I didn't ever hustle up for money. I may have briefly hustled some money, but I just didn't feel like it. I remember calling my parents from the gas station where my hobo friend was hustling up money. And I remember calling them from a payphone and probably telling them the situation, and I found it highly amusing that this is where I found myself. I don't think they were too happy about it, to be fair. Yeah, but I tell you the one thing about living under a fucking bridge, it was extremely cold at night. Tell you that much. Fucking freezing. I don't know exactly how long I stayed under there for. Definitely one night, maybe 2 or 3. But the first night I stayed under there, right, it was cold. Like, I was getting up and jogging to try and keep myself warm, and then I went to like the gas station, which was open all night, and I was like, dude, can you just give me like a hot chocolate or something, because I'm freezing cold outside. And one of the guys gave me a hot chocolate for free, which was nice. It's just reminded me of something else, which I haven't told, a different story about an orange, which I was given when I was begging in a different place, in a different scenario. Ugh. Oh God. Okay, well that's another thing. Yeah, so I got this hot chocolate for free, which is like nice, but it was still freezing cold. Okay, so backtracking again. When I first found this like valley thing, this little valley place with a nice chillaxing area, and the bit it was actually wider than this makes it look. I haven't drawn it very well, but yeah, the highway bit above was quite long and wide, so it's quite wide. So it went on with the shelter part was quite long, like that, if that makes sense. I don't think I'm explaining myself very well. Anyway, I found that like this place, and I was like, "Cool, this is wicked," because I've been kicked out of Mrs. D's, right? And I'd been taken by the police to the bus station, but then missioned my way back using a homing pigeon sense, and I'd found this place, which was far enough away from Mrs. D's so that she would never know I was there, but close enough so that I could give them muffins, which was really creepy, as I mentioned in the past video. And I also remember I found an easel, like a small easel, somewhere like out the back of the what do you call them things? I mentioned it earlier, mall. I found a small easel that had been chucked away, and I went and gave that to them because one of them people who lived in the house was an artist, and that was creepy as fuck as well. Oh god. And then so that's when I had the conversation with Mrs. D when she said, "Look, you gotta just leave us alone because you're creeping everyone out, man." And I wrote a song about that as well because she stood there talking to me kind of like normal, and then that was the last I saw of her. That was the end of it. And I was trying to ask her, I was saying, "Look, I found this cool place. Why don't you come and see my little hobo den under the bridge? It's really cool. It's pretty peaceful and calm." And she probably was thinking, "Dude, you're going to take me over there and murder me or something." I was like, "No, man, it's just this cool place." And she said, "Oh, I'll think about it." And she never came. So I did spend a bit of time moping in this area that I was homeless now, and my stupid, weird lesbian girlfriend was not coming to see me. Oh dear. Yeah, but overall, living under the bridge was cool, apart from the freezing fucking cold nights, which was too cool. Too cool for school, man. And what else? Oh yeah, I'm trying to say the first part of this, which is when I found the place, I went to the mall bit, right? And behind the mall, there are a couple of couches that had been left behind, thrown away out the back, right? There are these big bins, and there are these couches on the floor outside them. Sofas. A couple of sofas, like a sofa set out the back. And I was like, this is wicked. I know exactly what I'm going to do with these. And I took a couple of the giant pillows off them. You know, the couch, the actual part of the couch bit, the pillow that goes into the couch. You know what I'm talking about? The panels of the couch, yeah? So I got two of those underneath my arms and just walked them off thinking, if anyone sees me, whatever, they've been left behind the thing, so no one wants them anyway, so I'm having them. Right? I'm just like bummed along, like nicking these things, and took them up to my little bed thing. And that was my bed. 2 pillows, which I'd nicked from there, which is good. I also nicked some cardboard bits, because it's good to have bits of cardboard as well to like lay over the top or underneath the bottom, whatever. Just, yeah, so had that as well. That was good. And I believe that, as I say, there was already like a sleeping bag that was left there, or like a duvet thing that was already left there, so it was kind of perfect, but it was still way cold, man. Like, don't let me don't think that just because I had a duvet on that it was warm. It was fucking freezing. Like, I couldn't sleep, it was so fucking cold. So I know how these homeless people feel, and it must be even worse in the winter. Like, I don't know how these people sleep. It's horrendous, the conditions that you're in being outside and exposed. If you're not in a tent, if you don't have any heating, you know, if I don't know, in the winter, just I don't know. It's a wonder that more homeless people don't die, and I know that a lot of homeless people do die because of the cold in the winter. But yeah, fucking hell. And this was autumn when I was there. And so it was quite warm in the day. It was nice and warm in the day, but when it came to the night time, fucking hell, it was so cold. And I remember telling people afterwards, it was so cold, I could feel it in my bones, and the cold had just seeped into my bones, kind of thing. And I felt cold for longer afterwards, even when it was warm. Like, I just felt like part of my body hadn't warmed up, it was just stayed cold. So that was tricky. And I felt like that as well when I used to go busking in the winter. Just feel like the cold had just seeped inside you and you couldn't get it out. Yeah. Okay, so that was that freezing coldness. I also bought some. No, I didn't buy it actually. I got someone else to buy it for me. I asked some people in the mall when I was looking at some lined pad things for writing on, and I said to them, I said, "Could you please buy this for me?" I had a bit of an American accent by that point. Could you please buy this for me because I'm trying to write a book about my. I'm going to write a book and I don't have the money to buy it. Right. And they said, yeah, okay, fine, have 75% or however much it was. So I bought this little pad and a pen, and I thought that I was going to write a book about explaining why I'm not mad, right? And it was quite good actually, but I'm sure it would have actually probably proved that I was mad if anyone had read it. But I didn't end up keeping those. I kept one of it was like a yellow pad, it had yellow pages in, and it was full of mad person writings when I look back at it. Some of it was good though. Anyway, so I bought that and I'd spend time lying around in this area, just like on my bed thing, writing stuff in my journal. And one of the things I came up with when I was under the bridge was, I thought, when I get home, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to become addicted to heroin on purpose, and then I will do a documentary about me getting addicted to heroin on purpose in order to show what it's like to get addicted to heroin and then to go through the recovery and withdrawal period of coming off heroin. And I'm going to do it all as a documentary, because I thought myself as a bit of a filmmaker at that point, because I'd done a film or two, like short films at, not school, but at this youth centre thing. And I don't know, I just fancied myself as a bit of a filmmaker without very much actual experience in making films. Oh yeah, one of the things that Mrs. D and I were talking about was how we wanted to make this documentary about going to different cultures, and I wanted to explore the spirituality of those different cultures in a documentary film, while she explored the gender and sexuality issues of different cultures in that same documentary film. Yeah, that never happened, obviously. She was too messed up about her own sexuality and gender that she didn't even know what the fuck she was doing. Okay. Yeah, so underneath the bridge I came up with the idea to do a documentary of getting myself addicted to heroin. I think I was imagining it would be something like that. What's that program called? Fast Food? Oh god. Fat Food Generation? Fast Food Nation? Super Size Me. Pardon me. Super Size Me. That's what I was thinking. I was going to do something like that because I had watched that before, and I thought I was going to do a heroin version. Fucking hell. So I thought about that, which is stupid. And I haven't done that, so that's on the bucket list to get addicted to heroin. Yeah, get addicted to heroin and do a documentary about it. And I had to really talk myself out of that one, because I was thinking, why would you do that? That's ridiculous. Don't do that. That's stupid. You're going to get yourself through a lot of pain, and maybe you won't come off it that easy, you know? Maybe you won't come off it at all, and you just ruin your life instead. So I had to talk myself out of that one. the idea still comes back to me every now and again. I thought, maybe I should. No, what are you talking about? Okay, so that was that, and then this young girl showed up over on over by these pillar things, right? This young girl randomly shows up. She was like 16 or 17 or something, and so I should draw my fucking hobo matey in here as well. He's sat over here, like with his beer and his wine and stuff. I think he used to throw the cans down into the little ravine bit, which is not fair. So there he is, sat there with his beer cans and stuff, sat there drinking. And I'm not naked at this point, but I sat sort of over here, I suppose, going, oh man, what the hell? Like, who the hell is this Venus? So that's me, the fatter one, even though I was really skinny at that time. Yeah, so this girl shows up right over by the pillars, and she's just sat there all lonely by herself. Looks like she's run away from home or something. So she's like sat over here, and we could see her. She shows up, right? So she's sat there over there by herself, and we're like, okay. And my marvelous hobo friend was like, she looks like she's. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna stick it in her. I will stick it in her. Oh, she may go over there and talk to her. I'll say, no crackhead nigga's gonna come get me. I'm gonna stick it in her. I'll stick it in her. And obviously, I'm sat there thinking like, oh God, yeah. Oh man, what is this? So he went over to talk to her, and I thought, fucking mad person. So I followed to try and kind of stop her from getting raped, basically, and to make sure that nothing bad actually happened to her. But he was actually okay towards her. We just chatted with her for a bit. She'd run away from home because her parents were being dicks or something. And then she went back, and he came back. And he was like, "I would stick it in her." I'm like, this is very offensive, and I'm sure that you wouldn't say that to her face. But so this is apparently what this means is his penis is the size of his middle finger and the shape of his middle finger, and that this is what he was going to do with it. He's going to stick it in her. He didn't mean his finger; he meant his penis, and that's what he wanted to do. But it was pretty crass. Yet also incredibly amusing because of how crass it was. It's like this person was a ridiculous human being. Everything about him was extreme. Yeah. And then he just sat there with his beers again and was just talking about the girl for ages after that. So very bizarre experience. Yeah. And I remember as well on another occasion, like it was like in the early morning. There was no cars on the highway, and I managed to climb up there somehow and peer over, and like there's some part where you could kind of walk up, like this middle part of the road that you could kind of walk up and then peek up. I don't know how to describe this. So it's like this, where the road split or something. There's a way that you could walk up and find, and sort of peer over and sit there or whatever. And that was cool. So I just sat there at this open road in the early hours of the morning. Very, very peaceful. A lot of it. A lot of this experience, apart from the annoying hobo guy, was very peaceful and calm. Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Okay, that's pretty good. Another thing that happened in this general time period in the same area as well was I randomly found. Okay, so what was it? I went to Blockbuster. There was a Blockbuster Video there, or some kind of video store there. Yeah, it was Blockbuster. I saw it was Blockbuster Video. There was a Blockbuster Video there, and I went in to there just like don't know why, really, hanging out, I suppose. Okay, and then in the coffee shop place with the muffins, there was this guy writing a script. He was a script writer, and he was writing a screenplay for a film, which I thought was interesting. I talked to him a little bit as well. Yeah. Oh man, too many memories. Okay, and then so I went to the Blockbuster video thing, and I was speaking to some people about like maybe I would skip out on my visa, like maybe I'd stay in the country illegally, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know, man, don't know whether you should do that." And it turned out that they were in a band. This sounds like some kind of weird dream right now, but it was all true. They were in a band and they were just going on their way to rehearsal, and they said, "Did I want to come along?" So I found myself in a rehearsal room, really strangely, with this 4-piece band with a female singer. It was a little bit like Paramore, but not really. But I just was randomly in a rehearsal. I didn't play anything. I just sort of sat there and watched for a while. Didn't stay there for long, but it's just so bizarre, like the kind of situations I found myself in. So I got invited to there and hung out with this band in Baton Rouge in a rehearsal room, listening to this band randomly, and then went back to my under the bridge like living situation. It's just fucking weird, man. I remember like stood there and I was thinking, man, I really need to get back into a band. Yeah. Ah, okay. And then somehow I got home from there. I must have gone to the bus station again somehow. Got a cab, money for a cab from my parents. I'm not sure. But I got back to the bus station and I got my way to an airport. Maybe that was when I went back to New York. Oh God, I don't know. Okay, well, we'll leave it for there for the moment because we've done a lot here. We've covered the whole bridge, under the bridge thing, yeah? Let's just put this back up one more time for you lot. Yeah. So there we go. That is the time I spent living under a bridge like a troll with a hobo who basically was a troll. And there's that girl who showed up, and there's the bit, oh sorry, there's the bit where I laid her out in the grass. So it was all very, very strange, but this perfect thing. Even the hobo, at the end of the day, was a perfect story of things to happen. Like this, you couldn't have wanted a more random and interesting life experience. Like this was something that I could not have planned, and it was amazing. Even though it's fucking cold. Like, if you're gonna randomly find yourself living under a bridge, I don't know, bring a tent and get some kind of heating thing in there because it's fucking cold at night. Okay, ta-da! That's that part of the story. Thanks very much for watching and listening, or just listening. That's been Fieros' story time for tonight. I'm going to crack open my fucking wine bottle like a hobo because I'm green. I got to get out there and make me some money. And just now, I'm going to drink myself some wine. I'm not going to let no crackhead, Daym Crackhead. Catch you later.